So the World Cup is being hosted in the USA for the first time in my life. Me, Bordeaux, Bingo, and Eric Rayweather are all going to the first USA match, which is exactly why I got this USA kit. But obviously, me and all the boys are American football YouTubers, which got me thinking, what if the NFL had a World Cup style format? And thanks to a little Madden science, we're putting that experiment into fruition today. Now, RBT, you dumb hick, how would the World Cup work in Madden? Following the World Cup format as close as physically possible, we're dividing all 32 NFL teams into groups of 4, and we're not going to be boring and just take every division as is, but every team in each group plays each other once. Every win counts as 3 points. Obviously, every loss is 0, and in the very unlikely scenario of a tie, that counts as 1 point. And if at the end of the group stage there's teams tied on points, the point difference is the tiebreaker. And at the conclusion of the group stage, the winner of all 8 groups will advance to the knockout stage, with the top 6 second place teams also advancing to the knockout stage. And the top 2 teams with the most points or the best points difference gets a first round bye, where it'll be single elimination until somebody's crowned champions. But just like the World Cup in real life, the entire journey starts at the group stage draw, where they typically do this big event where they pull balls out of a jar to set the groups. Well, my pulling of the balls today will be these wheels. Each group will have a team that finished first in their division last year, a team that finished second, third, and in last, so all 8 groups are as even as possible. But obviously, with some NFL divisions being tougher than others, there will more than certain be a group of death formed today. Beginning our group stage draw with Group A. Our first team from Group A is going to come from Pot 1 here, which is compiled of all the teams that finished in first place last year in the AFC. So the first team in the first ever NFL World Cup draw is going to be the reigning AFC champion New England Patriots. Now, joining the Patriots in Group A will be a team from Pot 2, which is compiled of all the second place teams from last year. So joining the Patriots in Group 1 is going to be the LA Chargers. So I think you guys get it by now. The third team in Group A is going to be a third place team from last year in the AFC. It could be the Chiefs though, man, or even the Bengals. Like, there's some really good teams here. Joining the Chargers, joining the Patriots is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, which officially rounding out our first group of the NFL World Cup. Honestly, whoever joins that group probably doesn't have a chance. It's all the last place teams in the AFC. Like, whoever gets drawn here is literally, it's going to be impossible for them to make it out the group. Hopefully, it's not my Tennessee Titans. But let's see, brother. Rounding out Group A, it's going to be my Titans, dude. God dang it. So there you have it, boys. Group A is officially complete. And let me tell you, boys, it might not be the group of death, but it's close. Again, like, my Titans literally have no chance. If we just make it out the group, if we finish in second place, I'll be the happiest man on the planet. But if Group A doesn't end up as the group of death, dude, I really want to see who does. Maybe it's Group B. We're starting off the Group B draw in the NFC Pot 1 of all the first place teams from last year. Let's see who we get. Oh man, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. What a start. Joining the Eagles in Group B, all the second place teams. Dude, talk about the group of death. The Rams join the Eagles. So out of Pot 3, man, it could be the 49ers, Falcons, Commanders, or Vikings. If it's the Commanders, man, they stand absolutely zero chance. But who gets the tough draw? It is the Commanders, dude. That's hilarious. Now, rounding out Group B is where it could get tricky, man. It could be the Lions. Like, the Lions came in last place last year, but I think we all can understand they're not a last place caliber team. So you possibly bring them into a group with the Eagles and the Rams. That, my friends, could very easily be the group of death today. Let's see, man. Not going to be the Lions. It is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Which, again, they stand absolutely zero chance. So we got Group B now officially set, and I feel pretty confident in my prediction that the Rams and Eagles are going to make it out of the group, which I will say that it is inevitable that somebody's going to shock us today and make it out of the group when they shouldn't have. So who knows? Maybe the Cardinals or Commanders will shock us. Group C time. Back to AFC Pot 1. First team in Group C is going to be the Jacksonville Jags. It's crazy. I feel like Pot 2 in the AFC is actually tougher than what Pot 1 is. But also, inevitably, one of these groups is going to be one of the easiest. It might be this one. Or not, since the Jags are joined by the Bills. And they could either get the Bengals or the Dolphins. And they get lucky. They do get the Dolphins. And I don't think those 3 teams are going to be afraid of any of these guys. That's going to join them as the 4th team to round out the group, which is going to be Myles Garrett, Deshaun Watson, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, with Group C finished again, I would be shocked if it's not the Bills and Jags making it out of this one. There's just no way a team with Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Malik Washington as their top 3 receivers can make it out of their group into the knockout stage, right? Oh, Group D's my favorite. I love the D. Love it. Team from NFC Pot 1 to start off Group D is going to be, looks like, Oh, the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Now, NFC Pot 2, again, much like the AFC, very tough team. So whoever joins the Seahawks can give them a fight, which, it's going to be close. It's going to be the Packers, man. What a matchup. And joining Seattle and Green Bay in Group D is going to be a division rival of the Seahawks, the San Francisco 49ers. So if the Pot 4 draw here gives us the Detroit Lions, Group D might very well be the group of death, which it just fits, right? The Giants. So no, in my opinion, no group of death yet. Even though Pot 4 didn't give them the Lions, I mean, Group D might be the hardest group so far. And even with the Giants probably being a pretty massive underdog, I still wouldn't be shocked if they won this group. Honestly, dude, anybody could win it. So out of AFC Pot 1, to begin Group E, we either get the Broncos or Steelers, and we get the Denver Broncos, which could be joined by either the Ravens or the Texans. I'm telling you right now, if the Texans join the same group as the Broncos, the next two teams to join around at the group might not score more than 20 points the entire group stage. It would be the Ravens, though. If Group E gets the Bengals here, man, it could be nasty. And brother, they do get the Bengals. Now, out of AFC Pot 4 here to round out Group E, either the Jets or the Raiders, and let's be honest, neither of those teams have a chance to make it out the group, and then it's going to be left up to Mendoza, the rookie, in his first ever NFL game, having to play one of the toughest groups in the entire NFL World Cup. So again, with Group E consisting of the Ravens, Bengals, and Broncos, it might be right up there with one of the toughest groups we've seen so far. But now on to Group F, starting off with the NFC Pot 1. And honestly, if this lands on the Panthers, that might very well end up as the easiest group in the entire World Cup. And what do you know? Carolina Panthers could be joined by the Dallas Cowboys or Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know the Buccaneers like to have a second chance to beating them, but it looks like Panthers going to be joined by the Cowboys, which honestly, out of Pot 3, man, I feel like the Falcons or Vikings could have a fair shot at winning this group so far. So who gets lucky? It's going to be Kyler Murray and the Vikings. And out of NFC Pot 4 to round out Group F, either going to have the Saints or the Lions. Two teams that came in last place last season. And honest to God, dude, wouldn't be shocked if either of these teams ended up winning this group. Probably going to be the easiest group out of the entire World Cup. It is going to go to the Saints. So even though I think Group F will quite comfortably be the weakest group at the World Cup, in my opinion, I think it's also going to be the most interesting because you genuinely have no idea who's going to top the group here. But following our draw for Group F, there was only one more team remaining in every single pot, which does mean the rest of the groups are now set. Group G, we have the Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, New York Jets, and Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, you would expect the Jets to come in last place, but I wouldn't be surprised if either of those other three teams won the group. And our final group at the NFL World Cup, Group H, got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Lions, and Chicago Bears. I would assume the Falcons come in last place, but again, at the same time, would not be shocked if either of these four teams ended up topping Group H. So it's finally time to kick off the NFL World Cup, opening up with Group A, with the opening match being the Mike Vrabel Bowl, Tennessee Titans versus the Patriots. And also just an FYI that every single match today will be played at a neutral ground. What a horrible start to the first ever NFL World Cup. And of course, not only did my Titans lose, it was the most boring game physically possible. Surely the Chiefs and Chargers will bring more excitement. And of course it delivered. Excitement, fireworks, and erections as Pat Mahomes loses his first ever World Cup match. But he'll have plenty of chances to redeem himself later, which he actually gets his chance immediately. And he has got to make the most of it because if they lose here, there's a good chance they're already eliminated, which the Patriots did hang in for a bit, but Mahomes and the Chiefs pull away in the second half to stay alive. Hopefully my Titans will be able to say the same, but I don't like our chances whatsoever against the Chargers, and I'm somewhat proud because we did go out with a fight, but unfortunately the NFL World Cup literally just started and my Titans are almost 100% eliminated. I'm used to this as a sports fan, but still a lot to be determined going into the final match day, which at this point does look like the Chargers should be through the knockout stage, but at this point in time, still a toss-up between the Chiefs and Patriots, and don't forget that only the top 6 second place teams make it through the knockout round, so honestly, depending on the score difference, neither of them may make it. But before the third and final match day for Group A, we move to the start of Group B, kicking off with a match where I'll be willing to bet the deed to my house that the Eagles win, which my living situation did come down to the wire, but by the skin of my thin juicy shaft, I'm not going to be homeless. Rough result for the Eagles though, because that point differential is extremely important today. Now if I didn't almost just lose my house, I would have placed the same bet on the Rams here, but I really don't think the Commanders stand any chance at at all. But the Commanders at the death here send it into overtime, and oh my god! The first big upset of the World Cup as the Rams go down? What a freaking comeback. So let's see if the Commanders can do it again here and upset the Eagles, which would almost 100% guarantee their spot in the knockout round. And they did get off to a hot start, but unfortunately didn't score again for the rest of the game, as the Philadelphia Eagles, with their second win in 2 matches, almost guaranteeing that they make it out the group unless something goes terribly wrong for them. Which, after things started terribly wrong for the Rams on match day 1, surely they get back on track against the Cardinals here, and it's not going good for them. Not going good at all. But no way. No way, right? They lose? Did the Rams really get grouped by the Arizona Cardinals? Getting grouped by the Cardinals and Commanders is crazy. Dude, Group B has schizophrenia. Which, going into the final match day, like, who the heck knows what's gonna happen at this point? Will the Cardinals or the Commanders make it to the knockout stage? Or will the Rams win their final game by 40 and squeak in on point difference? But before we find that out, it's Group C time, with a big opener between the Bills and Jags, as it lived up to the hype in an absolute thriller. But the Bills do come away with a narrow 27-21 dub, but definitely don't count out those Jaguars just yet. Now, in the exact opposite of an absolute thriller, we are privileged to witness the Dolphins and Browns here. But despite being an expected ugly game, it was another match in Group C that comes down to the wire, as the Browns and Shedeur Sanders start things off with a big 3 points, which is time to see if the Browns are for real about getting out of this group, or if the Jags will somehow bounce back as expected. Which again is crazy here, is that if the Browns somehow pull off this upset, they're more than likely headed to the knockouts. As valiant effort as they hung in there to the very end, but as expected, the Jags get on the board with their first ever World Cup dub. But don't count out those Browns just yet, because at this point in time, they're actually still in second place on score difference by a literal singular point. Now, if the Bills beat the Dolphins as expected here, they should be on through to the knockouts. Well, we've already seen a ton of craziness happen in this World Cup, so I'm fairly certain that there will be more, but not today though. One of the biggest blowouts that we've seen so far, which should quite easily clinch Group C for the Bills. But still, so much to be determined on the final match day, as the Browns and Jags are neck and neck, but you'll have to wait, because it's time for the big juicy Fat D. As a fun Group D opening match here, with the reigning Super Bowl champions in action for the first time in the World Cup, which the Seahawks are obviously the favorites here, but don't count out Jackson Dart and the Giants just yet with that insane front 7 they got, which I shouldn't even have wasted my breath hyping them up. Comfy little 21-7 win for the Super Bowl champs, trying to become the first ever team to win the Super Bowl and World Cup in the same season. There's a good chance though that whoever wins this game steals the big Group D from the Seahawks, because this might just be the toughest group from top to bottom. Which we got ourselves another one down to the wire here, as the Niners tied up late, but a last-second field goal gives the Green Bay Packers the entire 3 points, which the 49ers immediately have the chance to right their wrongs here on match day 2 against their division rival Super Bowl champs. Well, they failed. Blowout loss for San Fran, which more than likely sees them eliminated from the NFL World Cup. The Giants will suffer the same fate if they can't upset the Packers here. They did take it into overtime, but they suffer heartbreak once again, as the Packers pick up 3 more points in Group D, which means all that's left to be decided is who wins the group and who comes in second. Which, screw it, dude. Let's go ahead and round out our first group of the World Cup here with our first match day 3 of the group stage, which the Giants 49ers here doesn't really matter outside of just determining last place. Not even close, dude. The Giants with an absolute stinker, cementing their last place finish for the first time in the first NFL World Cup with a negative 39 score difference. But now for the juiciest question of the World Cup yet, who here is going to be our first group winner? Now again, keep in mind that the loser of this game still has a more likely chance than not to make the knockout rounds, and it's an ugly, sexually diseased transmittable football game that does end up going into overtime, and at the end of the day, the reigning Super Bowl champions get the walk-off, topping Group D as our first group winners, being the first team to verify their spot in the knockouts, which means they still have their shot to win a Super Bowl and the World Cup in the same season. Now, with the Packers coming in second, I will say that a score difference of only 3 might actually screw them a little bit later, but no reason to panic yet. On to a tough Group E now, although not really a tough opening match for the Broncos, as surely they can take out rookie Fernando Mendoza. What the fuck? 9-0. The Las Vegas Raiders upset the Broncos. Dude, the Broncos deserve to be banned for life after that. Imagine they get eliminated from the group stage without scoring a singular point. Now, surely this is going to be a more exciting game, although that's not saying much, which I will say through one half, severely disappointing. Why can't the Bengals score? Dude, what is going on? Why can't anybody score in this group? How in the world did Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Bengals just get blanked? I'd rather watch an Eric Rayweather video. Immediately heading into Group E match day 2 so we can forget about all that nonsense, where we have a match between two teams who still haven't scored a point. The good news is that they can't put up a goose egg in the same game, right? It's a miracle! The Broncos have scored 2 touchdowns and a half of football. But dude, like, what's the Bengals' problem? Like, what a stinker, man! Which has got to be the most disappointing performance of the World Cup so far, which, barring an act from God himself, has eliminated Cincinnati after just 2 games. Now, what are the odds that the Raiders here can pull off back-to-back major upsets with a rookie quarterback at the helm, which would almost guarantee themselves a spot in the knockouts, which is not looking good here in the 4th quarter, although they are trying. Wait, what just happened? What did I just witness? Literally no idea how it just happened, but the Raiders have officially knocked off the Broncos and Ravens in back-to-back games to open up the World Cup. Dude, Fernando's loving life right now. That's gotta see him through to the next round, right? Which I will say, if they do somehow lose to the Bengals on match day 3, there is a slight chance that they could be leaked. But at this point, the Bengals have a World Cup worst -40 score difference. There's just no way they end up screwing up the Raiders' Cinderella bid. But Group E, match day 3 will have to wait because it's Group F time, which I'm telling you right now, this is the most unpredictable group of the entire World Cup. So let's see if it's going to be the Saints or Panthers to start off this wide open group with a full 3 points. It's the Saints, who again, even coming from Pod 4 as a 4th place team from last year, I would not be shocked at all if they actually won the group, and they're off to a great start. Cowboys Vikings up next, and man, life in Minnesota not off to a good start for Kyler Murray. And with that blowout win, the Cowboys are now top of the group, which basically sets us up here with an elimination game between the Panthers and Vikings, with the loser basically guaranteed to be sent home packing. An ugly, nasty game, nothing but field goals until the Vikings finally strike, but too little too late as the Panthers survive for another match day. But with that L, that's pretty much goodbye to Kyler and his new team. Now, what a matchup that we have here, fellas, between the Cowboys and Saints, as the winner here is 99% sure making it through to the knockouts. And it's one of those that have been back and forth all game long, but kind of as expected, it is the Cowboys who squeak it out by less than a touchdown. But regardless, they still basically clinch Group F with that 30 score difference, moving on to the knockout stage, which it turns out to be a huge match day 3 for both the Saints and Panthers, as their fates won't be determined until the final day. Screw it! Let's go ahead and round out the group, starting with the Cowboys-Panthers first game of match day 3. Remember, if the Panthers win, they still have a shot. If the Cowboys win, they go down as the second team today to finish out group play with all 9 points, alongside the Seahawks, which the Panthers did keep it close up into the 4th quarter, but somehow, someway, the Cowboys hang on, officially earning their 9th point of the group stage, which has massive implications for the final match between the Saints and Vikings. If the Saints lose by less than 13, they stay in second place, but if they lose by more than 2 touchdowns, the Panthers leapfrog them, and crazy enough, if the Vikings can somehow win by 36 or more, they could still advance. So with things still pretty much completely wide open, let's see how the frick this goes. Oh no, Saints fans. Oh no. Oh no. Did that actually just happen? Fellas, I suppose the choke is officially complete. And with that diabolical the Panthers finished second in the group with a -9 score difference, while at the same time, the Saints almost went from second to last. The Vikings were literally a touchdown away from coming all the way back. But you boys gotta keep in mind that only the top 6 number 2 seeds advance, so I don't know if with that -9 score difference, the Panthers will actually make it through, but I suppose we'll have to see. But as you guys have experienced, match day 3 drama is insane, which makes me super excited to go back for the final games for the previous groups to see what the heck happens and see if somehow they can top this. Now let's see if we get any Group G drama, starting with the opening match between the Jets and Steelers, which the Jets actually got the late lead here. Wait, can they actually hold on? They scored again, dude. What a freaking start. The Steelers as a pot 1 team goes down to the Jets as a pot 4 team by double digits. Aaron Rodgers might really be washed, dude. Next up, we get ourselves an in-division matchup between 2 pretty even teams, and I don't think it shocks anybody that this was an extremely ugly game, which it also doesn't shock me that it was the Texans defense to get them their first 3 points. But at the conclusion of match day 1, Group G still wide open, which means this is a massive game to open up match day 2 because whoever wins this is still alive, but whoever loses is eliminated, which Aaron Rodgers takes the late lead and then loses it immediately. Confirmed, we will not be seeing Aaron Rodgers hoist that NFL World Cup trophy. But hey, Daniel Jones still has a chance. Just imagine Daniel Jones lifting the same trophy as Lionel Messi. Now, it will be kind of tough for the Colts, though, because of that point difference. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. Now, talk about crazy. If the Jets win here, they're pretty much guaranteed through to the knockouts. But I've got a bad feeling that old Geno Smith here won't be able to score enough points against that D'Amico Ryans Texan-led defense. And my sneaky suspicion was correct. That 21-point difference is going to be massive in the group standings, basically locking the Texans in as Group G winners. Which, I mean, things could still go either way, but the Jets are now a 6-score difference behind the Colts, which sets us up for a massive match day 3 game between the two. And we're getting right into it, but getting the Texans-Steelers out of the way first. I mean, if the Steelers can win by 7 touchdowns here, they might have an outside shot. Wait a minute. Wait a freaking minute, dude. There's just absolutely no gosh dang way. What did we just witness? What just happened? Dude, like, what does that even do to the standings? The Steelers jump all the way to second place, but despite the incredible last-ditch effort, unfortunately, whoever wins the Colts-Jets game is going to pass them up. But the big story here is that the Texans now have a -3 score difference, which could very easily screw them up later. Because the winner of the Jets and Colts here could easily pass them up, win the group, and lock it in a spot straight through to the knockouts. And honestly, if the Texans finish in second place with that -3 goal difference, I really don't know if that would be good enough to lock in one of those 6 spots. Oh no, dude. The Colts pulling away here as the Jets, unfortunately, the Cinderella story's over with. They get eliminated. But at the end of the day, or I guess in this case, at the end of the game, like, what does this do to the group standings? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, dude. The Indianapolis Colts, out of nowhere, jump all the way into first place with a score difference of 13, officially clinching Group C and possibly sending their division rival Houston Texans to Cabo. Absolute electric scenes here in the NFL World Cup. Now let's see if Group H can possibly top that. Which, not gonna lie, brother, Lions-Bears actually kind of a banger for a Group H kickoff match. Okay, just kidding. Like, what is up with these teams getting shut out, dude? Like, the Detroit Lions offense putting up a goose egg here is insanity. Now, you'd like to assume that the Bucks and Falcons here in match 2 would be a little bit more of a shootout, right? I mean, got a 1-point game going into the 4th quarter. Falcons take the lead and hold on with those cheeks clenched, getting 2 of all quarterbacks the opening 3 points in their group play. So at the conclusion of match day 1, things are looking mighty good for those Chicago Bears, especially if they can take down the Falcons here in game 2. Wait a minute, dude. Like, the Bears gonna get shut out now? No, because they finally do score, but like the Falcons are pulling away. And dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a pretty massive upset. And with said upset, the Falcons now are the massive favorite to win the group, barring unforeseen circumstances. Now you got these 2 teams fighting for their lives. I mean, 2 teams that I completely expected to make it out of the group, which, to be fair, I suppose the winner does have an outside shot, but the loser of this game is guaranteed to be eliminated. You're like, what in the world has happened to the Lions? Going into the final match day for Group H, they have a score difference of -27, and they're pretty much already locked into last place, which, outside of their disappointing performance, really any of the other 3 can still win the group, but you expect the Falcons at this point to be massive heavy Vegas favorites. But the main question here is who finishes in second. Bucks Bears here is gonna be cinema. But first we got the Falcons and Lions here, which if Atlanta does win, they officially clinch the group and advance to the knockouts. Well, that's a little bit too late for the Lions. Like, why did it take this long? But what does this exactly mean for the Falcons? Dude, they went from being a win away from clinching the group to now having a -2 score difference, which means out of absolutely nowhere that the winner of the Bucks and Bears clinches the division. Absolute cinema. Which, not much going on here in the first half. Bucks with a slim lead, but the Bears do tie. Field goals, dude. Nothing but field goals. And there it is, boys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, out of absolutely nowhere, win Group H. My editor will be happy about that one. And the Falcons do lock in second, and as crazy as it sounds, that -2 point difference might just be enough to get a spot in the knockout round. So at this point in time, our group winners so far: Seahawks sit right on the big D, Cowboys win Group F, Colts top Group G, while you just saw the Bucks win Group H. But now, my friends, it's time for even more cinema, as we have to finish off match day 3 for Group A, B, C, and F. Group A, match day 3 time, which let's see if my Titans are going to give me secondhand embarrassment here by finishing with absolutely 0 points. Like, why can't we score points, dude? Like, what is going on? Like, gosh dang it. Under 10 points again. Chiefs with the win, which our stinky performance pushes those Chiefs into second place. And dude, so much could change here with Group A's final match. Oh, and the Patriots pull away here at the end. This could have massive ramifications for the entire group. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The Chiefs win Group A by the width of a lizard's foreskin. Literally just a 2-point difference between first and second place here, but still regardless, automatically sends the Chiefs through the knockouts. But the Chargers should also definitely have a spot, because that 7 score difference is pretty solid. Now time to finish off Group B, where the Rams are surprisingly already eliminated. But second place still up in the air between the Cardinals and Commanders, which again is a shocker. Which I guess the Eagles could still also lose first place, but it would take an all-time choke job. Which I suppose, let's go ahead and start off match day 3 here by seeing if the Eagles can clinch the group and go 3 wins in 3 games. But I do feel like the Rams are due here. There's just no way the IRL 2026 Super Bowl favorites finish off the NFL World Cup with 0 points. Told you guys, I'm a smart boy. The Rams here lead into the 4th quarter. Eagles fighting back though with all they got, but unfortunately for the Philly faithful, it wasn't enough. Which even though it's way too little, the Rams are officially on the board. They avoid the goose egg. And honestly, dude, that could be horrible for the Eagles, because with that loss, they possibly could have Group B slip away from them. I mean, genuinely, though, it is so insane to me that both the Cardinals and Commanders actually have a chance here to steal this group from the Eagles. And I guess it's not completely out of the question either that somehow the Rams could Mickey Mouse this. I mean, genuinely, this matchup here actually has the potential to win the actual Oscar for absolute cinema. I mean, there's just so many different potential ways Group B could go here, depending on the outcome of this game, which the Cardinals do take the lead into halftime, taking even bigger lead in the 4th, and just absolute insane scenes here as the Arizona Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett of all freaking teams and of all freaking quarterbacks flip Group B on its freaking cranium. Oh, this is crazy. The Eagles and Cardinals are literally tied on score difference. Oh, and I hate it. I hate it with the passion. I'm rooting for the underdog, but unfortunately, tiebreaker 3 is the total points scored by the offense, which is even more nutty because yes, the Eagles do win the tiebreaker, but literally by only 2 points scored, which unfortunately does officially mean your Philadelphia Eagles are the Group B winners. But the Cardinals have put themselves in a primetime spot to advance from that 2 seed. I told you guys, cinema. I mean, there's just no shot that the finish to Group C here can beat out that Hollywood script of an ending. So I feel like with a 27 score difference here, the Bills are locked in as the group winners. But like I said, we've seen crazier stuff happen today. I mean, being completely honest, like anything could happen here. So let's go ahead and jump right in here to our first Group 3 match day 3 match between the Miami Dolphins and Jacksonville Jags to see if the worst team in football can get on the board in the first ever NFL World Cup. I don't think this shocks a soul, which crazy even the shutout wasn't enough to pass the Bills. Negative 41 points, my God! But as long as the Bills don't lose by more than 11 here, they do clinch the group, and there's just no way they get their backs blown out by Shedeur Sanders here, right? And yep, things went exactly as expected. The Bills win Group C with all 9 points and a 48 score difference, which definitely might just be good enough to clinch one of the 2 first-round bonds. Not to mention the Jags in second place with a 15 goal difference, who also have a very good shot to get one of the 6 second-place spots in the knockouts, which we'll all know for sure at the conclusion of match day 3, rounding out Group E here, which is crazy because there's still so many possibilities that remain for the knockout stage. Switch straight into the Raiders and Bengals, which keep in mind here, if the Raiders win this game, they officially clinch Group E as the biggest underdog to win their group in the entire World Cup. Which the Bengals way out in front, which the Raiders do finally answer, showing a little bit of fight. And man, I was rooting for the underdog, but unfortunately it was too little, too late. And even though those stupid Cincinnati Bengals are still coming in last place despite the win, they just had to ruin the underdog story, which means unfortunately by default, no matter what happens in this next game, the Raiders will end up coming in second place with a negative 4 score difference, which also means whoever wins this game clinches the group, and whoever loses is eliminated. We got massive stakes in the final game of the NFL World Cup group stage. Ravens out to a quick lead, Broncos get on the board before half, and the Ravens hang on to the 17-19 W, officially clinching our final group while also eliminating the Broncos. Which means it is finally time to officially reveal the knockout round, as after 48 matches of group stage football, here are your group winners. As remember, all 8 of these teams automatically clinch their spot. And also don't forget about those ever so important first round buys with the highest possible point total and the highest score difference of the NFL World Cup group stage. stage. With a score difference of 48, the Buffalo Bills officially earned the first round bye, and the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks earned the other. Now it's our time to unfortunately break some hearts, as we have to determine which 6 second-place group finishers also advance to the knockouts. First, we have the Jags making it through with their highest second-place score difference of 15. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who make it through with a score difference of 12. The Chargers with 7. The Packers with 3. Then it gets real tricky because literally every other score difference is in the negatives. So we have the Falcons squeeze through with a difference of -2. And last but not least, the final team to make it out of the group stage into the knockouts is the Houston Texans with -3, meaning both the Raiders and Panthers completely miss out with their score difference of -4 and -9, which is a bummer, man. Like, I wanted to see if the Raiders could go all the way. So it's official. Your first ever NFL World Cup knockout bracket, which unfortunately, due to some technicalities, the Eagles and Packers seeding is a little out of sorts, but they'll get to settle it in the first knockout round. But let's have some fun, fellas. I will say, when it comes to the bracket, when it comes to the seeding, in my opinion, I believe the favorites are the Buffalo Bills. But how funny would it be that after everything today, after this entire experiment, if the Seahawks just end up winning it all like they did with the Super Bowl? But we officially start off the knockouts as the 7-seed Texans travel to 2-seed Baltimore. Now, I do want to say, as we start this first simulation of the knockout rounds, they just disregard all the records that you see. They're just completely irrelevant. All you need to know is the seeding, as early on, Texans got themselves a lead here. Are we about to get an upset in the first round of the elimination stage? Is 17-7, and the Texans win. Dude, the 2-seed Ravens out just like that of the NFL World Cup. Dude, what a start. Which I do have a very sneaky suspicion that the rest of the knockout stage is going to get even crazier. God, dude, it looks like Lamar chokes in the NFL World Cup just like he does in the playoffs. So with our first upset of the knockout rounds out of the way, let's see if the same thing can happen on the other side of the bracket. 2 7-seeds winning off the rip would be insane. The Cowboys off to a very fast start. Falcons get on the board. I expect the Cowboys to win. It's 14-10, though, going into halftime. Hold on a second. Falcons trying their absolute darndest. It's 17-14. Dallas sends it into overtime. Hold on a second. 24-17, 24-all. Falcons pull off the second consecutive upset to start off this knockout round. 2 7-seeds advance into round number 2. Dude, like, what is going on? Michael Penix with the game of his life. Because it's so funny, because like in the World Cup in real life, you always have a player or two that's come out of nowhere that have the tournament of their lives. So let's see if that ends up being Michael Penix today. So with 2 7-seeds in 2 games already advancing into the quarterfinals, we might have already peaked for craziness. But let's see if the upsets can continue. So what are the odds we get our 3rd upset in 3 games here? Colts off to a fast start, though. See if Justin Herbert and the Chargers can tie the game before halftime. It's anybody's ball game here. 10-7 Colts lead. Still a 6-point ball game. Late in the 4th quarter, Chargers take the lead. Colts kick a field goal. The last minute for the first time today, we have the favorite come out victorious, advancing into the quarterfinals. To have to say, outside of the ending, this was a pretty boring ball game. Like, kind of equivalent to the World Cup matches that finished 0-0. Like, sub 200 offensive yards from the Chargers is diabolical. So with the 3-seed Colts being the first favorite to win today, let's see if Tampa Bay can make it 2 in a row. Which I also have to say, like, I know they weren't a 7-seed or anything, but I think the Cardinals by far are the biggest underdogs in the knockout round. So if they somehow, someway win here, that would be insane. Which is pouring down rain here, so literally anything could happen. Like, I literally can't even see the field. 7-0 Cardinals, just like that. 10-7, Buccaneers tie things up going into halftime. Cardinals 17-10 lead. Hold on a second. 2-touchdown lead. Buccaneers are fighting, though. They come back with a vengeance into overtime. Cardinals with a lead? There's just no way this is happening right now. The Arizona Cardinals with the upset win away from home in Tampa Bay to advance into the quarterfinals of the NFL World Cup. Like, I know they're not the same caliber, like equivalent, but this feels like an old school Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi shootout. Jeremiah Love as a rookie dude carrying this team, literally. Marvin Harrison balling out. It makes already 2 overtimes in the knockout rounds, dude. This World Cup is crazy. Now, there's just absolutely zero chance that the Chiefs get first rounded, right? Which honestly, I'd not be shocked at all with how the knockout rounds have gone so far. Nothing doing early. 3-0 ball game. Jags take the lead. Pat Mahomes comes back, though. 14-10 Jags. 21-10 Jags. 21-16 in the 4th quarter. 8-point ball game. They score, do not get the 2-point conversion, and Pat Mahomes gets knocked out first round of the knockout stage in its first ever NFL World Cup. Like somehow, dude, things continue to get crazier and crazier. Man, another incredible quarterback duel. And somehow the underdog Jags get the win and advance into the quarterfinals with a total of 10 rushing yards. I'm telling you, dude, none of this makes sense. So we're literally 5 games into the round of 14 and only one favorite has advanced into the quarterfinals. So let's see if that trend continues here. And don't forget here that the Eagles are actually the favorite, although the seeding got a little out of whack. 14-10 Packers with the lead in the second half. Eagles don't score. 16-10, 24-10, 27-10. Officially the biggest blowout of the knockout stage as Jalen Hurts gets first rounded. Jordan Love with the biggest game of his life, and like the Eagles superstars are what let him down. Like Jalen Hurts couldn't get anything going. Saquon Barkley couldn't get anything going as the Packers in dominant fashion win the final game of the round of 14, which means the first ever NFL World Cup quarterfinals are officially set. And it really is kind of nuts, dude, because like in terms of probability, I think there's a more likely chance than not they'll either have a 7 seed or a 6 seed make it all the way to the World Cup semifinals here. Imagine the Arizona Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett make it through. And honestly, man, I'm an underdog at heart. I'm supposed to not show any bias, but I want the Cardinals to win here. 3-0 lead, a 7-3 Packers now. Come on, man. 10-3, still a ball game. 17-3 to us. It's over. It's a GG. It was fun while it lasted, fellas, but the Green Bay Packers in 2 consecutive World Cup knockout rounds win by double digits. I feel like the boys should be proud, though. Just like the Eagles last round against them, it's like the Cardinals offense couldn't get anything going, which is now down to the 7 seeds to keep the underdog story alive. Which, I mean, I think we all agree that the 1 seed Bills are definitely the heavy favorite here. But again, I suppose we've already seen crazier things happen today. Imagine earning the 1 seed and getting knocked out immediately. They have a 7-0 lead. 10-0 lead. Texans trying to claw back here. It is 17-7, 24-7. It's going to take a miraculous comeback. 24-14. The Bills, though, are going to hang on and advance into the NFL World Cup semifinals. Can't be too upset making it to the quarters, though, as a 7 seed. God, dude, if the Bills offense can put up these numbers against the Texans defense, they really might be the favorites right now to win the entire thing. So just like that, fellas, our 6 and 7 seed go down. But that last seed heartbeat is still pumping. But it's going to be tough, man. Like somehow, someway, they got to take down the reigning Super Bowl champions. So I suppose it's time to see if today's underdog story dies with the Atlanta Falcons. Early start. Seahawks do take a 3-0 lead. Kind of ugly game to this point. It is 10-0. Not good for the Falcons. Their offense can't get anything going. Michael Penix had a great first round. Finally scores a touchdown. Still anybody's ball game. 10-point difference. 14-7. Seahawks hang on as our 6 and 7 seeds all go down to the quarterfinals, as unfortunately both 1 seeds advance. I mean, not a bad game from Penix, but like, I think everybody's surprised, man. It was the running game. Like, Bijan couldn't do anything, which that does officially take us to our final game of the quarterfinals. So will it be Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence making it to the first ever NFL World Cup semifinals? Nothing going so far. Nobody can score, apparently. 3-0. No touchdowns in the first half. Definitely a 0-0 game. 10-0, 10-7. A lot of scoring happening fast. Colts take a late lead. Are they going to hang on? Yes, they do. The 3 seed Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones, making the first ever NFL World Cup semifinals. So after all the insane upsets that happened in the round of 14, we had every single favorite winning the quarterfinals, which officially locks in our World Cup semifinals. There's just absolutely no way that Daniel Jones makes it to the first ever NFL World Cup finals, right? Will it be Josh Allen or Danny Dimes? Like, what an insane sentence. 7-0 lead for the Colts. 7-all. Gonna be a thriller here. Colts into halftime with the lead. There's no way. 21-7 Colts in the fourth quarter. It is 24-7, and Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts take down Josh Allen and the favorite Bills as they defy all odds. As one of the teams that got the worst throughout the offseason in real life, they defy the odds and make it to the first ever NFL World Cup Finals. I mean, dude, it's crazy because it wasn't even close. Which all means at this point in time that our main question is who joins the Colts in the finals. So we have the Green Bay Packers and the Grossi Posse as our last line of defense from keeping the Seattle Seahawks from having the chance to win the Super Bowl and the NFL World Cup in the same season. Which is 10-0 just like that. Seahawks finally on the board. They're not going to go out without a fight. They're a good team. 10-all. Going to halftime. They actually take the lead. Packers tie. Fourth quarter is going to come down to the wire. 17-all into overtime for a World Cup final spot on the line, and the Seattle Seahawks keep the dream alive 2017 with a walk-off field goal, which now means they officially have their shot to follow up the IRL Super Bowl with the NFL World Cup. So the first ever official NFL World Cup all comes down to this. Will it be Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold as your first ever NFL World Cup champion? Like, that sentence being spoken out loud is just crazy. What an insane upset this would end up being for the Colts. We're gonna go play by play to open things up here. Big first down conversion to Josh Downs. Looks like the Colts are absolutely going to put up points on the board. Just kidding. They go back. 10-yard penalty. Big penalty here from Quentin Nelson, the veteran. I was about to say they should get points the first drive. That's 2 straight negative plays, losing 17 yards. Maybe they're still in field goal range. 4th and 22. And after that, dude, what a disaster. They have to punt. Seahawks first drive. Okay, they do the same thing. They go backwards, so they're going to have to punt. So a real ugly first quarter of football here as just more backwards plays forces another punt. So there's definitely not going to be any points scored here in the first quarter. Let's hope there's going to be points scored at least in the first half. Again, a 3-and-out from the Seahawks. And now the punters are the MVP so far. 95-yard punt. See if the Colts, though, can finally put up some points. 3rd and 5, 4th and 5. Again, another punt. Like, imagine paying tickets for this NFL World Cup final. Probably like $7,000 to $10,000 a pop, and nobody can get anything going. Seahawks with yet again another 3-and-out. Like what's going on right now? We're literally going to go into halftime without there being any points scored. Right? There's another punt. Like, literally 5 hours of my life has led into this. This is insane. Again, the Seahawks cannot get a single freaking first down. Dude, the reigning Super Bowl champions ruining the moment of all time. Into halftime, not a single point scored. Only one time has somebody crossed midfield. That was the Colts, because the Seahawks don't even have a freaking first down yet. Come on, give me something juicy to open up the second half. Seahawks finally get their first down. They actually cross midfield. 3rd and 2, and they immediately go backwards, man. We're really not going to have any points scored in the 4th quarter, or are we? Jonathan Taylor gets a big play, gets injured immediately, though. Oh my God, it has finally happened. Danny Dimes to Alec Pierce, showing exactly why he got that monumental contract. Oh, let's see if the Seahawks can answer. I mean, they haven't barely got past midfield much yet, freaking score points. They're finally moving along, and immediately go backwards as the theme of the day. 3rd and 3, they get the first down. Are they going to answer and tie things up going into the 4th quarter? No, they're not, but slowly but surely on the goal line. Seahawks finally on the board. Sam Darnold to A.J. Barner. I know it's been an ugly game at this point, but should set up for an absolute classic finish. 2nd and 7, Danny Dimes. Oh, brother, if he connects with Jonathan Taylor there, he could have took that 75 yards to the house. Big 3rd down and 7 to keep the drive alive. Keep in mind, if they punt here and the Seahawks move the ball, they might start chewing clock and try to win with the game-winning field goal. Keep in mind, Danny Dimes and the Colts are the only team that's standing in the way of keeping the Seahawks from winning the Super Bowl World Cup in the same season. 3rd and 7, a strike down the field. Tyler Warren past midfield. What a play. Now, talk about chewing the clock, man, with like just over 4 minutes to go now at midfield. If I'm the Colts, I'm taking my time here. Probably about 10-ish yards from being really in field goal range, so let's see if they can get it. Clock is running. Just a little bit over 4 minutes to go. Out of shotgun, Danny Dimes has Jonathan Taylor over the middle. Multiple options. Tyler Warren on back-to-back plays gets 9 yards and should put his team in field goal range. And that clock continues to slowly tick. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Run with Jonathan Taylor, gets the first down and a little bit more. That's a new set of chains. That's more time for the Colts to chew, which I'm telling you, like I said, at this point, they might just set up for the game-winning field goal. Oh, imagine a walk-off field goal to win the first ever NFL World Cup. I think they're going to continue to run the ball here. No, they do. They faked me out to play action, I thought. Now it's a 7-yard gain here from Jonathan Taylor. Just keep in mind, the Seahawks do have all their timeouts. It's going to be interesting to see how Mike McDonald plays it. Okay, to my surprise, they go 5 wide here. Try to set up for a screen pass, and he has to throw it into the dirt, which keeps the Seahawks from having to use one of their timeouts, which sets up for a monumental 3rd down and 3 here. They pick it up. They could clinch the World Cup. If they don't, they have to settle for a field goal and give the Seahawks a chance to go out on the field, win the game with a touchdown, or if anything, send it into overtime. So 3rd down and 3. What does Danny Dimes have his sleeves? He's going to scramble here, get the first down and more. Danny Dimes, the 10, he slides. Might have very well just won his Indianapolis Colts the first ever NFL World Cup. Now again, keep in mind, Seahawks do have all 3 timeouts. The Colts could still get another first down here. Of course, a handoff. Jonathan Taylor gets stuffed. Also, the Seahawks do have the 2-minute warning that's about to hit, so that can save them a timeout. So there's a chance they could hold the Colts to a field goal here and get the ball back with like a minute left to go. Maybe even more than that. Play action pass. Danny Dimes to, I think that's Jelani Woods there. Seahawks, to my surprise, don't use their first timeout. I don't know why. Oh, I can't believe the World Cup is coming down to this, brother. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. 3rd down and 5. Daniel Jones goes down, gets sacked, and have to settle for a field goal. The Seahawks are going to get the football back with 2 timeouts, minute 30 on the clock, with a chance to go on the field and score a walk-off touchdown to win the World Cup. That's if he makes the field goal here, which, I mean, really, anything could happen. This World Cup's been insane up to this point, but you'd expect field goal is up. Field goal is good. Colts take a late 10-7 lead in the World Cup final, but the only question, though, is can that defense hold up, hold strong, get the ball back, and clinch their team the World Cup trophy. Another chance for Samuel here to cement his legacy. Imagine after all that, he just comes out and throws a pick here. That'd be kind of anticlimactic. 1st and 10 from the 23. Sam down first play, strike, and somehow Cooper Kupp hangs on to it. I mean, just like that, they're like literally 20 yards away from field goal range. Now, also keep in mind, very interesting, when it's the CPU playing, dude, their IQ when it comes to time management is in the negatives. Like, they're even more of a dumb hick than me. There's a really good chance we could have some sort of anticlimactic finish here where they like don't line up for a field goal in time to send it into overtime. But over the middle, again, in 2 plays to A.J. Barner. Seahawks just on the outskirts of field goal range now with their eyes set on winning this thing here. But I'm telling you, boys, things are going to get tricky here if they use their last timeout because the time management is just not ideal in this game from the CPU. Go 5 wide here. Need about probably 10 yards, make it a for sure field goal. Wide open Cooper Kupp again, who does not get out of bounds, I believe. Or just kidding, they do call him out of bounds. I think it was going backwards, which means the clock should keep running. But hey, what do I know? I'm not the billion-dollar company who coached this game. This is absolute cinema, boys. Absolute cinema. 35-yard line, 2nd down and 2. Sam Darnold decides to throw the ball. Touchdown! Who else? Sam Darnold to JSN as the Seahawks take a 14-10 lead. 47 seconds to go. Now, the big question at this point in time is what can Daniel Jones do with 47 seconds and 3 timeouts remaining, dude? This is insane. The Seahawks literally do nothing the entire game. They have 0 first downs leading into the second half. And when they needed the most, with the World Cup final on the line, score a touchdown in literally like 5 plays. Now, a massive extra point here. Oh, that was so close to getting blocked. So now, the Colts somehow, someway, have to score a touchdown in less than a minute. Imagine, boys, imagine a kickoff return here. The Colts still win it all. I have no idea who this is returning the kick here. Not bad. Not bad at all. They got to go 62 yards. 62 yards with 3 timeouts and 40 seconds, man. Does Danny Dimes have what it takes here? 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Daniel Jones in the pocket. Check down to Jonathan Taylor. That's not what you want to see at all. The clock continues to run. This is what I'm talking about. You have all 3 timeouts, brother. What's going on here? Call the timeout, Shane. The World Cup is on the line. And what are we doing? Now you go hurry up, you dumb hick. Oh, God. That literally wasted 20 seconds of clock. Daniel Jones, quick strike to the outside, massive hit. They finally call a timeout. Just so unnecessary, dude. They can still have like 30 seconds on the clock right now. Such a stupid game, man. Billion-dollar company, by the way. Probably enough time for 3 plays. So let's see if they take 3 straight shots to the end zone here. They check it down to be dumb. I mean, they're going to get about 11 yards, 9 seconds to go. They call their second timeout. So they have to go 41 yards in 2 plays. Do the Colts have what it takes here? Is it bad that I'm like actually nervous here? I mean, it just sucks. They should really have like 25 seconds to go, which make it even more intriguing. But you never know, man. You literally never know what's going to happen. This is mad. 9 seconds to go. World Cup on the line. Check down to Jonathan Taylor, by the way. He's going to go down. Timeout is called. 4 seconds to go. Final play of the NFL World Cup final. The Colts have to find a way to go 30 yards here. Imagine the scenes. Imagine we get a walk-off World Cup final touchdown for the Colts to upset the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, or the Seahawks hold on here and back up their Super Bowl championship with the World Cup final trophy. Everything today comes down to this moment. Daniel Jones heaves it deep, and the Seattle Seahawks hang on and follow up their Super Bowl championship or the World Cup final trophy. Blame it on Shane, you moron. Now, if you enjoyed the NFL World Cup, you can click on one side of my head to get Bordeaux's version of the World Cup, but done on college football. Now, if you're not interested in that, or if he hasn't uploaded it yet because he's a slacker, you can click on the other side of my head to watch another video of mine.